The gleaming corridors of General Hospital have witnessed countless dramatic revelations, but none quite as devastating as what unfolds when little Amelia Grace Corinthos falls mysteriously ill. What begins as a routine medical emergency becomes the catalyst for a family-shattering discovery that will forever change the lives of Michael Corinthos, Willow Tate, and everyone connected to them. The morning starts like any other at the Quartermain mansion. Michael prepares for another day navigating the complex custody arrangements with Willow while trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy for his children. Amelia, now a spirited toddler with her mother's gentle demeanor and what everyone assumed were her father's determined eyes, seems perfectly fine as she plays with her toys in the nursery. But by mid-morning, everything changes. Amelia becomes lethargic, running a high fever that won't break despite Michael's attempts to cool her down. Her breathing becomes labored, and panic sets in as Michael realizes this isn't just a typical childhood illness. He rushes her to General Hospital, calling Willow frantically along the way, their personal conflicts temporarily forgotten in the face of their daughter's medical crisis. At the hospital, Dr. Terry Randolph takes charge of Amelia's care, ordering a battery of tests to determine the cause of her sudden illness. As Michael paces the waiting room, his mind races with worst-case scenarios. Willow arrives within the hour, her face pale with worrying as she rushes to Michael's side. For a moment, they're just two parents united in their love for their child, the recent drama between them temporarily set aside. They hold hands as Dr. Randolph explains that Amelia's condition appears to be some form of autoimmune response, but they need to run more comprehensive tests, including genetic screening, to determine the best course of treatment. Genetic screening, Michael asks, his voice tight with concern. Is that really necessary? Dr. Randolph explains that certain genetic markers can help identify the specific type of autoimmune condition and guide treatment options. It's a routine part of the diagnostic process for cases like this. Michael and Willow both consent immediately, anything to help their daughter get better. Hours pass as they wait for results. Michael finds himself studying Amelia's peaceful face as she sleeps, noting features he's never really focused on before. Her nose, the shape of her ears, the way her hair falls across her forehead, details that suddenly seem important in ways he can't quite articulate. When Dr. Randolph returns with the preliminary test results, her expression is carefully neutral, but Michael notices the slight hesitation in her manner. Amelia's condition is treatable, she begins, which brings immediate relief. However, during the genetic screening, we discovered something unexpected. Michael's heart stops. What kind of unexpected? Dr. Randolph glances between Michael and Willow, clearly uncomfortable with what she has to say. The genetic markers indicate that. Well, there's no match between Amelia's DNA and yours, Michael. Are you certain you're her biological father? The question hangs in the air like a death sentence. Michael feels the blood drain from his face as he processes the words. Not her biological father? How is that possible? He was there when Amelia was conceived. He held Willow's hand through her pregnancy. He was the first to hold his daughter when she was born. That's impossible, he says, his voice barely above a whisper. There has to be some mistake. Run the test again. But even as he demands a retest, Michael's mind is already racing back through the timeline. When exactly was Amelia conceived? He remembers that period. He and Willow were going through a rough patch in their marriage, arguing frequently about his dangerous family connections and her desire for a more normal life. There were nights when they barely spoke to each other, sleeping in separate rooms more often than not. Willow has gone completely silent, her face ashen as she stares at the floor. Her reaction tells Michael everything he needs to know before any retest confirms the results. This isn't a laboratory error. This is the truth finally coming to light. Willow, Michael says, his voice carrying a warning edge. Look at me. When she finally raises her eyes to meet his, he sees guilt written across every feature. The guilt she's been carrying for months, maybe years. The secret that has been eating her alive, manifesting in all the erratic behavior everyone has attributed to postpartum depression or the stress of their marital problems. Who is she? Michael asks, his voice deadly quiet. Who is Amelia's real father? Willow's composure finally cracks. Tears stream down her face as she shakes her head, unable or unwilling to answer. But Michael's mind is already putting together the pieces. The timing, her behavior, her desperate need to leave town with Drew, her willingness to blow up their family for a man she claimed to barely know. It's him, isn't it? Michael's voice rises despite his efforts to control it. It's Drew. That's why you were so determined to leave with him. That's why you've been so desperate to keep me away from Amelia. The accusation hits Willow like a physical blow. She stumbles backward, gripping the chair for support as the weight of her deception finally becomes too much to bear. Around them, the busy hospital continues its routine operations, but in this small waiting area, an entire family's foundation has just crumbled to dust. Michael, please, Willow whispers, but her plea sounds hollow even to her own ears. Michael's anger erupts with volcanic force. How long have you known? How long have you been lying to me, letting me believe that little girl was mine? His hands shake as the full scope of her betrayal becomes clear. I've been fighting for custody of a child who isn't even mine. I've been tearing apart my family, alienating everyone I care about, all for a lie. The emotional devastation is overwhelming. Michael thinks about all the sleepless nights he spent worrying about Amelia's future, the legal battles he's waged to keep her in his life, the love he's poured into raising a daughter he believed was his blood. Every tender moment, every milestone celebration, every proud father's grin has been built on a foundation of deception. She is yours in every way that matters, Willow finally manages to say, her voice breaking. You're her father, Michael. Biology doesn't change that. But Michael is beyond hearing rational arguments. The betrayal cuts to deep, the humiliation to profound. Don't you dare try to minimize this. Don't you dare stand there and tell me biology doesn't matter when you've been lying to me for over 2 years. Other patients and staff in the waiting area are beginning to take notice of the heated exchange, but Michael doesn't care who's watching. His whole world has just imploded, and Willow is the architect of that destruction. I want the truth, he demands, his voice carrying the authority of someone who's been pushed beyond his breaking point. All of it. When did the affair start? How long did it go on? And I want to know right now, is Drew Amelia's father? Willow's silence is answer enough, but Michael needs to hear her say it. He needs the final confirmation of what he already knows in his heart. As Amelia sleeps peacefully in her hospital bed, unaware that her world is being torn apart just outside her room, Michael waits for the words that will change everything. The words that will transform him from a devoted father into a man betrayed by the woman he trusted most in the world. The revelation promises to send shockwaves through Port Charles, affecting not just Michael and Willow, but Drew, the Quartermain family, and everyone else whose lives have been touched by this web of lies. But right now, in this moment, it's just a man demanding answers from the woman who has shattered his understanding of his own life. The truth, when it finally comes, will be more devastating than Michael ever imagined. Next, we will dive into the playful side of soap opera drama as Nancy Lee Grahn hilariously roasts her on-screen alter ego Alexis Davis and her tangled romantic history. In the world of daytime television, few characters embody romantic chaos quite like Alexis Davis on ABC's General Hospital. Portrayed by the talented Nancy Lee Grahn, Alexis has navigated a labyrinth of love affairs, particularly with her two most notorious exes, the brooding mob boss Sonny Corinthos and the cunning attorney Rick Lansing. These relationships aren't just fodder for intense plotlines. They produce children and endless heartache, making Alexis's love life a staple of the show's enduring appeal. Grahn, ever the witty commentator, recently seized an opportunity to poke fun at this messy dynamic, turning a simple fun event into a viral moment that had viewers buzzing with laughter and nostalgia. The spark for this lighthearted jab came during the annual General Hospital fan convention, a beloved gathering where stars mingle with devoted followers to celebrate the show's legacy. Amid the excitement of panels, autographs, and behind-the-scenes stories, Grant captured a candid snapshot that perfectly encapsulated the absurdity of Alexis's predicaments. There she stood, sandwiched between Morris Bernard, who brings the intense Sunny to life, and Rick Hurst, the actor behind the scheming Rick. The trio beamed with genuine smiles, their camaraderie a stark contrast to the on-screen animosity that defines their characters' interactions. This photo wasn't just a memento, it became a canvas for Grant's clever humor, inviting fans to join in on the jest. With her signature flair for blending sarcasm and affection, Grant crafted a caption that playfully dissected Alexis's complicated family tree. She wrote, "My to baby daddies." The fact that they're brothers just makes it all the more unseemly. Huaspiter GH at Morris Bernard at Rick Hurst. This cheeky remark highlighted a key twist in the General Hospital lore. Sunny and Rick are half-brothers, locked in a bitter rivalry fueled by betrayal, power struggles, and shared romantic entanglements. On the show, Sunny fathered Alexis's daughter Christina, while Rick is the dad to Molly, creating a web of connections that's as dramatic as it is dysfunctional. Grant's hashtag Huaspiter cleverly posed a faux dilemma, encouraging fans to weigh in on which baby daddy reigned supreme in Alexis's tumultuous heart, all while underscoring the soap opera trope of forbidden and fraught liaisons. The post quickly ignited a firestorm of engagement on Instagram, with fans flooding the comments section to share their takes on the fictional love triangle. One enthusiastic viewer quipped, "Who was better? Girl, you tell us." But we all know Sunny's got that bad boy charm that's hard to beat. Another chimed in with a nod to the genre's essence, saying, "That's what makes us a soap." Heh. Love all these actors and the wild storylines they bring to life. The humor resonated deeply, as evidenced by a fan who declared, "This is hysterical and brilliant at the same time. Love it." It's like Alexis is finally getting her revenge through Nancy's wit, adding a touch of spice. Someone exclaimed, "Now that's a hottie sandwich." You three look amazing together, off-screen magic at its best. Even those with strong allegiances weighed in, like the commenter who lamented, "I'm still salty that they broke Sunny and Alexis up in 2000 to still my all-time favorite couple." Rick was great, but Sunny and Alexis had that epic chemistry. Beyond the laughs, Grant's post served as a reminder of the rich history these characters share. Flash back to the early 2000s, when Alexis and Sunny's relationship blossomed amid high-stakes mob drama and personal vulnerabilities, only to crumble under pressure. Rick's entry added layers of deception, with his manipulative ways clashing against Alexis's moral compass, yet somehow leading to moments of genuine passion, inventing a fresh angle. Imagine if the show explored a hypothetical reunion arc where the brothers' feud forces Alexis into an impossible choice gallop that sparked new episodes filled with courtroom battles and heartfelt confessions. Such speculations keep the fanbase alive, dreaming up what-if scenarios that blend the past with potential futures. Fans didn't stop at debating the merits of Sunny versus Rick. Many took the opportunity to praise the actors' real-life chemistry and the photo's wholesome vibe. What a fantastic shot! It's so refreshing to see you all together, smiling like old friends, one admirer noted. Another added, "This trio is GH Gold. Nancy, your humor always brightens my day. Keep these posts coming." The comments painted a picture, a community bonded by shared memories. From explosive confrontations in Port Charles to tender family moments that humanize even the most villainous figures. One inventive fan even suggested a fan-voted poll. "We need an official Huaspiter tournament. Let's break it down. Sunny's loyalty versus Rick's intellectual wins." Grant's ability to bridge the gap between fiction and reality is what makes her such a beloved figure in the soap world. By joking about Alexis's unseemly entanglements, she not only entertains but also invites reflection on the show's themes of family, forgiveness, and flawed romance. While the question of who was truly better for Alexis might remain unanswered, perhaps intentionally so. To fuel ongoing debate, it's clear that moments like this strengthen the connection between the cast and their audience. We're all in for more antics from Gran, Bernard, and Hurst, whether they're stirring up trouble on screen or sharing laughs off it. Next, we will explore the escalating tensions in Port Charles as Drew Kane's vengeful streak takes a dark turn, targeting Curtis Ashford through his beloved Aunt Stella. In the ever-twisting saga of General Hospital, romantic betrayals often ignite fires that burn through friendships and family ties alike. Even after Willow Tate dramatically jilted Drew Kane at the altar, leaving him humiliated in front of Port Charles's elite, the ambitious congressman refuses to lick his wounds quietly. Instead, he's channeling his fury into a calculated campaign against his once closest ally, Curtis Ashford. What started as a solid bromance has devolved into a bitter feud, with Drew now willing to exploit any vulnerability to exact his revenge. Adding a fresh layer to this drama, imagine Drew secretly compiling a dossier on Curtis's past indiscretions, including his time as a private investigator, to build leverage that could dismantle his rival's life piece by piece. This shift highlights how quickly alliances can shatter in the high-stakes world of corporate intrigue and personal vendettas that define the show's core conflicts. The rift between Curtis and Drew traces back to subtle warning signs that Curtis, with his keen detective instincts, was quick to spot. Drew's personality had undergone a noticeable transformation, morphing from a reliable friend into a more ruthless operator. Perhaps influenced by the pressures of his political ambitions and hidden scandals. Initially, Drew had dangled a tantalizing promise, handing over the CEO reins of Aurora Media to Curtis as a gesture of their unbreakable bond. But when Curtis teamed up with Michael Corinthos to uncover Drew's deceitful intentions, raising the offer was nothing more than a smokescreen to maintain controlled fallout was swift and severe. They orchestrated a boardroom coup, ousting Drew from his own company and leaving him seething with resentment. Inventing a new element, picture a tense confrontation in the Aurora offices where Curtis confronts Drew about his broken word, only for Drew to retort with veiled threats about exposing family secrets, setting the stage for their escalating enmity. This betrayal marked the definitive end of their friendship, propelling Drew deeper into a villainous path where manipulation became his weapon of choice. Drew's descent didn't stop at corporate sabotage. He escalated his schemes by ensnaring Portia Robinson in a web of blackmail, forcing her to advance his agendas under duress. When Portia reached her breaking point, confiding in her husband Curtis, he took decisive action by revealing the shocking truth to Willow. Drew had been involved in a clandestine affair with her mother, Nina Reeves. This revelation not only shattered Willow's illusions but also exposed Drew's moral failings to the world. Now, with the knowledge that Curtis was the one who leaked this explosive secret, Drew's sights are firmly set on retribution. To delve deeper into this section, consider how Drew might now be forging alliances with shady figures in Port Charles, perhaps even consulting with underground informants to dig up dirt on Curtis's professional history, amplifying the threat of a full-scale war. His determination knows no bounds, transforming a personal slight into a potential catastrophe for the Ashford family. At the heart of Curtis's world stands his Aunt Stella Henry, a pillar of strength and compassion revered by everyone in Port Charles. As the family matriarch, Stella embodies wisdom and resilience, often serving as the glue that holds her loved ones together during turbulent times. Her role as the hospital's dedicated social worker further cements her status as a community hero, where she tirelessly advocates for patients navigating bureaucratic nightmares like insurance claims and medical debts. In a recent compassionate act, Stella went above and beyond for attorney Martin Gray, meticulously sorting out his mounting hospital bills and ensuring he received the coverage he desperately needed. Expanding on this, envision Stella sharing heartfelt advice with Martin during their sessions, drawing from her own life experiences to guide him through his financial woes, which inadvertently made her a target in Drew's eyes. Her selfless nature, while admirable, has now placed her in the crosshairs of a man who thrives on exploiting weaknesses. The trouble brewed when Martin, in a moment of loose-lipped gratitude, casually mentioned Stella's invaluable assistance to Drew during a seemingly innocuous conversation. Fans could practically see the scheming gears turning in Drew's mind as he absorbed this information, recognizing it as a golden opportunity to strike at Curtis indirectly. Feigning reconciliation, Drew extended an olive branch to Curtis, declaring a truce that rang hollow to anyone paying attention. But behind this facade, Drew is undoubtedly plotting to weaponize even the smallest infraction Stella might have committed in her professional duties, perhaps twisting a minor paperwork oversight into a major scandal. Inventing an additional twist, suppose Drew uncovers an old, forgotten case where Stella bent hospital rules slightly to help a needy patient, now using it as ammunition to threaten her career and reputation. This underhanded tactic underscores Drew's willingness to cross ethical lines, raising the stakes for how far he'll go to settle scores. As the plot thickens, the question looms: will Drew truly stoop to harming Stella, a woman whose only crime is her kindness? His track record of blackmail and deception suggests he might not hesitate, potentially launching an investigation or spreading rumors that could jeopardize her position at the hospital. On the flip side, Martin's role could prove pivotal. Despite his tendency to overshare, he might summon the courage to stand up for Stella, even if it means severing ties with Drew as a client and facing professional repercussions. Analyzing this dynamic further, Martin's potential heroism could stem from a newfound sense of loyalty, perhaps inspired by Stella's past support, leading to a dramatic courtroom showdown where he exposes Drew's machinations. Viewers are left pondering if this relentless antagonist will stop at nothing, or if alliances like Martin's intervention could finally curb his destructive path. In the end, this storyline encapsulates the essence of General Hospital's drama: fractured relationships, hidden agendas, and the constant battle between good intentions and malevolent schemes. Will Drew's revenge plot succeed in wounding Stella and, by extension, Curtis? Or will unexpected defenders rise to protect the innocent? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Martin has what it takes to step up against Drew? Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital spoilers for the latest twists and turns in Port Charles.